What's going on, everybody? It's your main man back on the scene with another video. If you're new to the channel, please hit that love button and subscribe to help the channel grow. It will be greatly appreciated. Let's get to it. Star Wars. 10 reasons it's time to do a full reboot and start completely fresh. Well, I'm not completely against that, but I think with the current climate and all they're doing is rebooting, it's kind of like, because the bottom line is Hollywood is creatively bankrupt. It's infested with activists and not creators, and they don't know how to make anything. Well, let's get into this article. Many film franchises have been rebooted, including numerous superhero and monster franchises. It is not an alien concept to reboot a fictional franchise. The Star Wars franchise is legendary, but it has had better days. The sequels were panned by fans and critics, and the plans to do backstory movies died with the failure of Solo, a Star Wars story, which is a corny name, Rogue One, a Star Wars stories. Like, really? They have somebody on there that's like 5 years old or something? The brightest spots have been the Disney Plus series like The Mandalorian, The Clone Wars Season 7, and The Bad Batch. However, there's an argument to be made for rebooting the entire franchise. Again, I'm not opposed to it, but fresh content is always good. So let's the universe, number 10. The universe is becoming confusing. With every new series, the greater story of Star Wars becomes more confusing. Reintroducing old characters means resolving events from earlier stories. For example, Boba Fett's escape from the Sarlacc will need to be addressed to avoid undermining Return of the Jedi. Valid point. Rebooting allows for planned continuity that doesn't defy conventional logic. The story gets a proper outline by a singular or small group of writers. This could create a story that doesn't have to spend time trying to shoehorn itself around established continuity. Well, I saw on another article where they were talking about George Lucas's original outline that he really wanted to do. Now, if they were going to do that, and let's say write the movies ahead of time, like 6 chapters, and some shows to fill in the holes, I wouldn't be opposed to that. As an alternative to the one that's going, I don't think they should stop. They could keep it going. And where they dropped the ball at was the sequel trilogy, because it was trash. They would have to retcon that nonsense to keep it going. But that's where the problem came at, is that you had agenda creep into the movies and it totally destroyed it. It wasn't because people got tired. It's because agenda ruined everything. Number 9, the original fan base is aging. Someone who saw Star Wars at 5 years old, I was 11 when it came out. It was 76. Yeah, I was 11. Is now 50. And many original fans are even older. Shut up. The point is rapidly approaching when references will be made to events that people will remember, that few people will remember when they happen. I don't know about that one. Older franchises have been rebooted, including Godzilla, King Kong, James Bond, and Universal Monsters. An aging fan base doesn't have to exist for a reboot to happen. However, it seems like a more reliable basis for rebooting the galaxy far, far away. After all, only so much money can be made from catering to a shrinking fan base. This is true, But again, they could have kept it going if they made a proper sequel trilogy where there was a passing of the torch and have the new characters have some type of relationship with the old cast. That way you keep the old fans and you attract new fans. Number 8, entertainment is consumed differently now, with streaming becoming more popular. Even before a pandemic emptied movie theaters, people are consuming entertainment differently. Mandalorian proved the longer form of storytelling a series can provide can resonate with an audience. Just because Star Wars has always been a series of movies, a rebooted saga doesn't have to be so. I can work with that. I still would like maybe every 2 years have a movie, but streaming services does give them the opportunity to world build better. Look, also what the Mandalorian prove is that when somebody gives a damn, you can make something that people care about. I mean, Mandalorian, it's not all that. It's not bad. It's pretty decent, but it's not like wow. Except for that last episode. Number 7. Anakin and Padme's romance is rushed. The rushed romance between Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala is a major flaw in the Attack of the Clones. Yeah, it was rushed. Like, really rushed. It was just terrible. Which made it seem awkward and goofy. Something like this, I think, would be better on streaming services. We have time to just bring it along more naturally. Or the script could have been written a little bit better. Let's move on to the next one. Number 6. The extended canon can work better if it can be foreshadowed early on. Logical point. Some of the better moments of the prequels are from subtle bits of foreshadowing of events from the previous trilogy. Unfortunately, the sequels don't have that luxury. An example is Snoke and the First Order coming seemingly out of the ether. Having characters from the prequels and spin-off series appear in earlier and later episodes would strengthen the web where all of these stories are connected. Well, that is true, but the problem is, and they admit it, they didn't have a plan when they made the sequel trilogy. That's why it sucked. There was no plan. It was just a bunch of slapped together stuff. So this is not really a valid point. And here's a picture of from a still from Rogue One. Rogue One would have been a lot better if it was about Vader hunting them down. They would have made like $2 billion off of that. That probably would have been. I would guess it would have beaten Endgame if this was more of a Vader flick. Or more of Vader doing his thing. Number 5. The story doesn't have to completely center on the Skywalkers. This is true. And what they're about to admit to, numerous legend stories don't focus on the members of the Skywalker family. The concept that Palpatine was the accumulation of every Sith Lord before could be expanded upon by including the legends of previous Sith like Darth Bane, Darth Xana, and Darth Plagueis. Yoda and Mace Windu show that the Jedi knew of the rule of two, so this can be fleshed out more and goes back before the birth of Anakin Skywalker. And they can also do stuff on Yoda and Mace Windu. So streaming services does give them the ability to world build. If they get rid of what's her name, Darlene Kennedy. Number 4. Rebooting avoids a confusing partial reboot of the sequel trilogy. This is true, but they should just retcon it. Just complete retcon. Because it's dumb. It makes no sense. And it kind of like made the original trilogy useless. Because Palpatine won. His descendant is still alive, and all the Skywalkers are dead. That's crap. You know, just come out with the real deal. It sucked, and if they want to keep it going, they should just retcon it. Or like some of these rumors that I hear, the veil, dark veil mirrors, and all that. And they made it so that Palpatine couldn't escape into the future or something. And just start with a new trilogy and just do the one that Lucas wanted to do from jump. It's just that simple. Done right, it can revitalize the movie-going experience. Again, if they have, let's say, they do the world building on the streaming service, they could do a movie like every 2 years, which would make it special because you're waiting. I can't wait till the next flick comes out. And you got to wait a couple years. I'm not even going to read that. A reboot, number 2, a reboot allows Star Wars to return to the hero's journey. The first Star Wars trilogy worked so well because it focused on a shared concept of the hero's journey. Luke Skywalker was the epitome of the hero, popularly Number 2, a reboot allows Star Wars to return to the hero's journey. The first Star Wars trilogy worked so well because it focused on the shared concept of the hero's journey. Luke Skywalker was the epitome of the hero, popularly explored by Joseph Campbell in Hero of a Thousand Faces. The prequels were able to make Anakin Skywalker take on the role of the hero with his redemption and Return of the Jedi after his journey. At the same time, Luke's journey exists simultaneously but doesn't completely mirror his father's. Clever writing can have Star Wars be several heroes' journeys overlapping. This can take the story successfully past the death of Anakin Skywalker. This is true. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. There's really nothing wrong with the original trilogy as it, or the original series as it is. Again, my thing is that they blew it with Disney Star Wars. That's where the problem comes in at. All the stuff they're talking, mainly the problem is Disney Star Wars. I mean, the prequel trilogies, it was so, except for Revenge of the Sith. I like that one. That one was good. That's in my top two. But rebooting allows for changes in the story. Well, this is number one, the last one. For all of Star Wars' success, there are moments where the audience can be surprised as the story diverges from what was done before. Jar Jar Binks could be eliminated. Definitely agree with that. Although any writer should avoid the inclusion of elements strictly for fan service. And I don't agree with that. Fan is the customer. I mean, I don't think they have to give them everything they want, but you have to have some fan service. You know, not to the point where they're writing the movie itself, but you do have to give the customer something that they want. Like the end of Mandalorian was fan service. Just keep it a buck. But it was good. So I don't agree with that. Successful elements from the expanded canon can be incorporated, throwing jaded fans off the expectation of a reboot simply revising the story. Possible divergences could be Palpatine not being Darth Sidious, Sidious having a Jedi under his thrall from the beginning of the story, or Qui-Gon Jinn perishing early on in the story, leaving Obi-Wan to go forth to discover Anakin on his own. An early divergence makes future divergences more acceptable to the audience. It also signals that the reboot isn't simply a retelling of the same story and a grab for more money. I agree with that. Again, for something like that, if they wanted to base it on Lucas's original outline of what he really wanted to do, I could work with that. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not a purist. This is the only way it could be. I'm cool with that. If, and that's a big if, they have people who give a damn and not activists pushing agenda, I would be all for it. Well, let me know what you guys think. Would you be down for a reboot? Or hell to the nah? Drop a comment below. I'm going to wrap this up, and I will get to you good folks later. Peace.